What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of the 715 Green and Gold Tailgate Podcast as part of the Man Cave Podcast that is brought to you by Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to both of these podcasts. That way, you'll never miss another episode. But if you subscribe and follow to the Man Cave Podcast, you will see all of our Tailgate Series podcast episodes. It's been kind of quiet after the first week of free agency when it comes to the Packers. And no trades, no signings outside of an offensive guard, Banks, and corner Hobbs. Probably two guys that weren't thought of as big-time targets for the Packers, or maybe some Packers fans didn't really know a whole lot about them. Hobbs, a few probably knew or heard about him, or at least read about him a little bit and such. But no splashy moves. No, like I said, no trades. Nothing for DK Metcalf. Sounds like Trey Hendrickson's not going to be an option either. Sounds like the Bengals are working on a deal with him. There hasn't been the move for an edge rusher. There hasn't been the move for a wide receiver and such. And, a couple things here. So here's the thing, Packers fans. I'm speaking to you right now. I'm a fellow Packers fan, and I'm speaking to you. And you're not going to like what I'm about to hear, but I think this is where it's going to be at. Here's the thing. You look at, yes, they've got cap space still available. Pickings are kind of slim. There's still some veteran wide receivers out there if you're looking at them. Maybe it's an Amari Cooper or whoever. They could do that. But when you look at the cap situation for 2026, I know we kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier. I think that comes into play for this year. I think it comes into play for signing guys like Zach Tom, because you look at the cap situation in 2026, they've only got a few $1 million available, and that's with Zach Tom off the books because he's a free agent. Romeo Doubs, Quay Walker, Devontae Wyatt, Christian Watson, et cetera, et cetera. Say what you want about those guys, but I think a majority of Packers fans would agree by saying that you want Zach Tom with Green Bay for the next few years. You want to make sure that he's locked up and ready to go. Even Rasheed Walker's on that list too, as a free agent. So I believe, and I could be wrong, but in my opinion, I believe that Green Bay is going to utilize some of their cap space that they have this year in trying to lock down a guy like Zach Tom so they could take some of that cap hit on this year. And I think you're going to see that for a guy like Quay Walker, too. Again, say what you want, whether you agree with it. Sure sounds like Goody and the Packers want to keep him around for a little bit. And it would be cheaper to sign him to an extension, sign him to a contract, than it would be to give him the fifth-year option where it's like all guaranteed money for that single year. Higher cap hit then. And so I know there's going to be frustration. Hell, I'm maybe a little frustrated, too, that they maybe missed out on a couple guys in that. But I really believe that, when you look at it, and when we look at championship goals and aspirations and such, here's the thing. The Packers winning the Super Bowl next year or for the next couple of years, the majority of that will rest on the shoulders of these two people. For Green Bay, I'm not saying it's going to be all on these two, but for the majority part, is going to rest on these two people. It's going to be the quarterback play on Jordan Love, and it's going to be on the head coach, Matt LaFleur. I don't want to necessarily get into a 2026 outlook, or a 2025 season preview and such. But I think when we get to that point, there's going to be a lot of eyes on Jordan Love. And I'm not saying he's playing for a job. I'm not even close to saying that. But I think there's going to be some people saying, okay, the guy was banged up this past year. How much did that knee really affect his play? And when you look at his play, and I think when you really break it down, I think there's a lot of over-exaggeration out there on how he played this year. I mean, there's people out there saying he was bad. I mean, for the crying out loud, the Malik Willis, credit to Malik Willis, but I mean, for crying out loud to say Malik Willis should be the starter over Jordan Love, you need to check yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. But there is going to be, okay, you look at this past year, banged up. Okay, not making excuses, but I think there's going to be some talk, okay, how does his fundamentals look? How does the footwork look? Is he throwing off the back foot still? How can he be better? For the Packers to win a Super Bowl, in the next few years, whether it's this upcoming season or the year after that or the year after that, quarterback play is so crucial to all that. And it's such a big dictator on whether you're going to win a championship or not. And I think for some, there's probably still going to be some questions surrounding whether Jordan Love can be the guy or not. Some don't. Not putting everybody in that category. But there are going to be questions. And let's be real. To win a championship, you need really good quarterback play. So with all of the maybe misses in free agency of not bringing in a wide receiver or not trading for a DK Metcalf and such, I get it. I understand it. I still feel like they need a little bit more depth there. A lot of that is going to be dependent, though, on the quarterback play. Can the quarterback lead this team to a championship? Can the quarterback lead this team to hoisting another Lombardi trophy? And with that, and maybe with some of the shortcomings on the offensive side, a lot of that is going to be on the shoulders of the play caller and the head coach, Matt LaFleur. I know after the season was over with, you had a lot of people questioning Matt LaFleur's job security and whether he's the right man to do it. And I disagreed with a lot of people out there saying that he should be let go after this year. I know maybe emotions running high and such, but I would agree with the notion that I think he is a little bit under the spotlight this year in terms of like, okay, we definitely got to see something better. We got to see something better in the passing department, whether it was Jordan Love's knee injuries or groin or whatever the case may be, whether it was some of the receivers going through a sophomore slump. I would agree that Matt LaFleur is maybe a little bit under the spotlight heading into this year. What can he do to elevate his team? What can he do to elevate his offense? If this is the offense we're going to run with no major additions from a playmaking standpoint, what is he going to do as the play caller? What is he going to do as the head coach to take this team to the next level? Because ultimately it will rest on his shoulders. If they have a down year this year and they don't make the playoffs, I don't know if they'd make a change after that, but I could definitely see some hot seats getting out there. But for all the gripes, the complaining, the frustrations surrounding maybe the Packers not doing enough in free agency for a lot of fans' minds, it's ultimately still going to come down. Regardless if they made all those signings, if they or trades, if they acquired DK Metcalf or they acquired Trey Anderson or somebody, we'd all be excited at it. It still would come down to these two individuals. How well is Jordan Love going to play quarterback? Is he going to take the next step in his progression? And how well or how good of a job is Matt LaFleur going to do as head coach and as a play caller on the offensive side? I mean, how many times have we seen teams win the quote-unquote offseason? How many times have we seen these teams win in March and fall short? It still comes down to your quarterback play. It still comes down to your head coach. So regardless if Green Bay made all those spicy moves this offseason, it still would come down to those two. I still feel like Green Bay needs to be better at pass rush, getting after the quarterback, maybe adding a wide receiver, a veteran wide receiver. I still firmly believe that. But I get it why they didn't spend $30 million per year on DK Metcalf. I get it why they're maybe not looking at acquiring somebody like a big-time pass rusher who, first of all, Myles Garrett, if we believe Cleveland, was never available. Trey Hendrickson, maybe not even available. And you're talking about over $40 million per year. I get it if that was like, okay, that's a little too rich. Because you may not like to hear it, but Packers are not in a good salary cap situation in 2026. That's just the facts. That's where it's at. They could create more. Jair will be off the books if they decide to move on from him. Kenny Clark's in a very pivotal year this year where if he doesn't perform, he could be off the books. You're taking some dead cap hit. They'll figure out ways. But right now, as it stands, it's not in a good spot.